27, turn right, heading 185, reduce speed 180 knots.
185 on the heading, 180 on the speed Gulf Air 007.
Speedbird 124, reduce speed 160 knots to 40 ME.
Reduce 160 to 4, speed 124.
Hi there guys, Matt here, hope you're all well, and long time no speak. Now, the last video that I made on this channel was about 2 months ago now, and it was an episode of Simcast. And in that episode, I promised that I would be bringing out Simcast on a bi-monthly basis, so every 2 weeks. And just like the majority of times when I seem to promise some sort of coherent schedule, never happens. I'm kind of my own worst enemy when it comes to stuff like that. I tend to have these vibrant, crazy ideas of which I think I can stick to, and then it turns out I can't. And it's not through laziness or anything crazy like that. And you know what? Sometimes I wish it was, because that's relatively easy to fix. But 9 times out of 10 for me, it is just purely down to the fact that I just do not have enough time in a day. However, me preaching about why there aren't any videos is not the reason for this video. The reason for this video is about what you are seeing in front of you, and also the title of this video. For the longest time, in all of my videos over the last probably a year, maybe 2 years, I've been using Prepared, P3D. And it's based around the ESP platform, which is what powered Flight Simulator X, or FSX. Now, Lockheed Martin took that platform, and over the course of the last maybe 3 or 4 years, have developed onto it and brought it up to a modern standard to the best of not only their ability, but also the engine's ability. Just last week, Prepared version 4 was launched, which finally gives us a 64-bit platform to work from. For those of you that don't know what 64-bit entails as far as FSX and P3D goes, it means there are no more out-of-memory errors. For those of you who follow FSX's development cycle, you'll remember that Dovetail Games bought it, and they turned it into FSX Steam Edition, and from that they also then turned it into something called Flight School, and more recently, Flight Sim World. Now, I'm not going to go into why that side of things for them didn't work and probably will never work. We'll focus on what is right in front of us, which is Prepared version 4. P3D on its own ships with a default set of textures and cloud textures and sky textures and sun textures, and also ships with its own default shaders. Now, by default, P3D looks pretty bland, pretty washed out, but that doesn't matter. All we care about with P3D is its foundation. And then us as simulator enthusiasts and also as developers build onto that foundation to get P3D to exactly how we like it. Now, there are a multitude of add-ons and modifications and utilities you can purchase for P3D and also for FSX as well to enhance your experience. Things like Active Sky 2016, which is now just called Active Sky, will enhance your weather experience. Things like the FS Labs A320 will enhance your airliner flying experience. And then you've got things like FSUIPC, which gives you a utility that has a multitude of functions to expand on the core of P3D. So today, what I want to show you is something that I have just released myself, and this is the P3D Tweak Assistant. Now, I was going to spend a little bit of time going through the backstory of P3D Tweak Assistant, but to be honest, if you're really that interested, I will leave a link below that links straight through to a Facebook post I made a couple of days ago explaining exactly the history behind PTA. I'm going to call it PTA from now on, and how it came to life. But essentially, PTA is a tweaking tool that allows you to change the core shaders within inside of Prepared to give you an outstanding look within the sim. This is how I get my P3D to look as amazing as it looks. The tool itself is available to purchase from my website, which is simtweaks.com. It's priced at £15, which is approximately 18 US dollars. And for that, you get a download with obviously a serial key, and that serial key can be used by you and only you. The fact that I have to tell you that in 2017 is pretty amazing. So, like with anything, I believe that the proof is in the pudding, as they say. And boy, have I had a lot of pudding in my time, so I know what's nice and what isn't. That is nothing to do with PTA. But still, it's a good pudding. Now, the only real way I have of showing you this is to show you it in action, I guess. Now, if you've had P3D before, or you still have it now, or you're actively using it, then you'll know what P3D looks like out of the box. Here is a picture of prepared version 4. This is completely default. This is with absolutely nothing attached to it. And then this is prepared version 4 in the PMDG 747-400 with PTA enabled. So if we scroll back and forwards, back, forwards, back, forwards. The first thing to notice is it's kind of got a blue tint to it. Now, this blue tint is directly because of the preset that this person has used. This is not my screenshot, by the way. This is one of the customers of PTA actually sent me some screenshots of their sim. There's an absolute buttload of screenshots on the PTA website, which is simtweaks.com if you want to go check those out. And it's also got some application screenshots as well, so you know what the actual tool looks like. But this is just a great example of what is possible with the tool, with just some minor tweaks applied. Personally, I think this does look great. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the preset. It's a bit too blue for me. This is another example of PTA in action with yet another profile that has a little bit of a blue tint to it, but still very, very nice. You can see the definition under the clouds. You can see all of the scattering that's available. Now, all of this is available to you in P3D as default, but it doesn't look anywhere near as nice as this. And then this one is also another stunning picture with PTA doing its thing. You can see the bloom from the sunset, you can see the nice sky, you can see the way that the HDR has been tweaked a little bit to make it worthwhile. It is truly, truly beautiful. Okay, so you have seen some of the screenshots from what is possible, and in fact, I'll just drag this over from my other screen. This is the website with the PTA stuff on, and if I open all of these screenshots, I'll just open up a few actually, so you can see a few of them. All of these are with PTA enabled, so I'll just run through some of them. This is a night screenshot. This is the Aerosoft A320 landing in, I don't actually know, I think that's Helsinki. This is a 777 wing view shot, another one, again another one from the left hand side this time, and this is the NGX banking out of, I think, where is that, Gatwick? It looks like Gatwick, if thereabouts, FTX England. You can see this is a really contrasty kind of blue tinted PTA preset. You've got this one in the British Airways 777, looks fantastic. This is a Thompson 737. I don't know why I'm telling you the airline, but you get the point. American 777. This is an Atlas 747. That looks really nice. You can see there, this is the dusk PTA stuff that you can do. You can kind of set dynamic ranges of what type of color profiles you use based upon the time of day. So you can have full control of that as well. And then finally, FS Labs A320 wing view over the sea somewhere with some sort of sunrise or sunset in the background. Alright, so now I've showed you all that, I will show you the tool and how to use it. So when you download it, you will get a zip file, and in the zip file will be pta.exe. Now you can, well actually you don't have to do this, but I really do suggest you do this because it's easier to keep track of. I would make a folder and put the exe in that folder. So for me, I have PTA P3D version 4. I also have one for version 3 as well, because there is two separate tools, one for version 3, one for version 4. That will change in the distant future, and they will become one, but for now they're separate. When you run the exe, the first thing that happens is it will create two folders. It will create a config backup and a shaders backup. Now, I've already run this before because I've used it, and you know, we made it compatible with version 4, so we've been developing it. But inside of these folders, you'll have a config backup, which is just your P3D config, and if you open it with your text editor of choice, you'll see that it is literally just a copy of the config. And then you've got a folder called shaders backup, which is all of the shaders that it has modified. Not every single shader is here. I mean, if you go to prepared version 4 directory and then go to, where is it, shaders here, you'll see that there's an absolute ton of shaders, but it only backs up the ones it affects, so it doesn't have to use you know, too much hard drive space or whatever. It will also make a file called default.ini, and this is just its way of saving stuff. And then this here is my own personal preset that I made, so you probably won't see that unless you download it, and I will leave the link below the video to where you can get this from. I'll also leave some links as well to some community presets, which are really, really nice, and then you can use those. The settings thing is for the settings within PTA, so you can ignore that. So run this as administrator, and then when you do, I've already activated mine, so you'd have a pop-up window. You stick your serial in it, activate it, and jobs are good. And you'll know it's okay because there'll be nothing bad here. There'll be no red. It'll just be like, yep, you're good to go. And you know that it is what it is. If you want to change the UI, the color of the skin or the actual skin itself, you have a nice drop down here that you can change. Some people like changing the aesthetics of it, and that's fine. But just for continuity, I will go back to what everybody will see when they first open it up, which is the Windows theme. Now, there's a bunch of settings here. You can see on the left-hand side, I'll just minimize everything here. There are 6 primary sections. There's miscellaneous, clouds, lighting, atmosphere, and fog, water, HDR, and post-processing. Now, most of you are going to use this the way I'm about to show you, which is you're going to find someone's preset, and then you're going to load it in, and you're going to apply it, and you're never going to touch the tweaks in your life again. But for those of you that really care about making it look, you know, completely yours, then, you know, we've given you a bunch of drop-down menus that you can tweak the settings with. Now, this is all documented on the SimTweaks website, so if you're wondering what each of the things do or how to use the tool properly, all of that is on the website. I will say, though, if you click on something, for example, let's click on Cirrus Lighting, you'll have a tool thing on the right here which tells you exactly what this section is about and what you can do with it. So I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to say that that's how it's done. And should you want to customize things to your own liking, then you have full flexibility to do so. Now, back to this INI file. Eventually, we want to have a system where within the application you can actually apply other people's presets without having to download them, but that's not quite ready yet. So if people make a preset, they will make it available via a download, and when you download it, you will get an INI file. And with the INI file, you can pretty much put it wherever you want because you're just loading it into PTA. You go to Preset and then Open, and then navigate to where it is. So this is this folder here, Matt Davies v1.ini. Hit that and load it in, and then go to Actions at the top and Apply Preset. Now, should everything go to plan and everything is fine, you will get a green preset has been applied successfully. And if you want to look at the log of what's happened, you can see all here what it's applied, which is pretty much what you would want to see. After it's done it, it will also clear your shader cache, which is really important for using new shaders, because the way it kind of works with shaders is when you load the sim the first time, it caches everything, so then next time you load the sim, it doesn't have to reload it from scratch. It's all still in memory, which is what you want it to, or where you want it to be, should I say. So yeah, that's loaded in, it's ready to go. If you suddenly decide that you actually don't like it and you want to get everything back to how it was and it's not for you, hit Actions at the top and then hit Restore Original P3D Shaders, and then press Yes, and it will do that, and it will also clear the cache again for you too. So you have full flexibility if you don't like it, or if you do like it, or whatever. I want to show you it with it on, so I'm going to open it now, and we'll enable it, and then of course we'll apply it. So it's that simple in layman's terms. For those of you who just want to make your P3D look better, it's you know, a couple of clicks and you're done. So we'll move into P3D. We'll run it as administrator. This is my edition, which was created specifically for me. If you can't tell that was sarcasm, then you need to just disappear. I just tweaked the splash screen because I thought it was going to be funny for stream. But there you go. So lightning loading times in 64-bit as well. This is just Chase playing crying at me because we're running a beta copy. Lightning loading speed, no memory problems. This is with all Orbex as well. I have every single Orbex scenery turned on to its highest degree of setting, and it's perfect. So we'll grab the only thing that works right now airliner wise in P3D version 4, which is the 747 from PMDG. So we'll grab that, and we will go to somewhere that has nice scenery and is compatible. So FS Dream Team just released Charlotte, and it's all compatible with version 4. It's got dynamic lighting and stuff like that. We'll choose, let's see if we can find a cargo apron or a bit of cargo to go and park on. There we go. We'll set it to daytime, and then we'll hit OK. Now this won't take very long to load, but I'll tell you a couple of things that will happen, and you'll be able to see them when it does load. Because it's affected the shaders and it's cache shaders, now it has nothing in memory. So when it first loads in, it will go like a sort of black tintish screen. Then it will probably go blue, it depends on the time of day that you've loaded. And then, maybe after 20-30 seconds, it will actually load everything in. So don't get a fright if you apply all of this stuff and then you press fly now and you get to this part and you're like, oh my god, what has Matt done to us? He's actually broken my sim. That is not the case. It's just going to reload the shaders. Here you go. There's the black screen. And then after the black screen will come some sort of different color as it loads everything in. So there's the blue, and that's because we're in the day. And this is now just caching the shaders. After this will probably come like some sort of scenery skeleton and some sort of aircraft skeleton. This will only happen the very first time you load it. So if you're changing shaders every time you fly a flight, this is obviously going to happen every time you fly the flight, or every time you open Flight Sim for the first time. But for the majority of you, you'll do it once and then you'll never see it again. So you can see everything is loading in now. Here comes the virtual cockpit. You can already see it looks amazing now the shadows have come into play and everything else like that. And I'm going to say that that is about okay. Now, I'm sorry if this seems a little bit stuttery when I'm panning around. I promise you it does not affect performance. It's just that there is a problem with OBS, which is what I'm recording on right now, and P3D version 4, it's a bit stuttery. I don't know why. We're still trying to figure that out, but for now, just deal with it. My sim itself is getting, you can probably see, I'm getting 60, 70, you know, sometimes it's hitting 80 frames a second. It is completely smooth on my end, so I apologize for that. Anyway, you can see it in action straight away. I mean, just look. It looks fantastic. Everything is just, you know, a step further than what you would get with default P3D. This is the, as I said, the FS Dream Team Charlotte scenery, and they have done a phenomenal job with it. It's completely compatible with the dynamic lighting that you get with version 4, and all of the trucks and stuff light the side of the aircraft, which is fantastic. In fact, I might show you that in a minute. But you can see, like, as far as the eye can see, everything is rendered out. You've got Active Sky providing the weather, and it's a little bit bloomy, but I can turn that down if I go to the settings like this, and then go to lighting, and then I can turn this bloom pretty much all the way down to like 0.5. I don't really like bloom, it's not my thing. There you go, that's a bit better now. This is pretty much as nice as I like my sim. Probably about that. Sometimes I just turn the bloom off altogether. But as you can see, everything is all the shadows and stuff like that. In fact, if you look down at the aircraft, it looks just insanely good. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but there's been a lot of people that have said that PTA is one of the top 5 must-haves for P3D, and that's like anything, top 5 must-haves anything from any add-on. So that is a pretty neat thing to be said about your own product. But there you go. So this is what it looks like in the daytime. Now we can change it to the nighttime. We'll just kind of go back down here. We'll go time preview like so. And I'll show you some of the different textures and the different shaders in different times of day. So this is when the sun is like kind of directly in the sky above you, and you can see the shaders have changed a little bit there. If we then move across, you can see the shadows moving as the day goes by. And I mean, if you look in the distance, look at these buildings over here, you can even see that those change. And then we'll move towards the evening time. I mean, look at that. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. If I've got my joystick plugged in here, I can turn around with the joystick. Just look at look at that right there. Look at the sun beaming off the ground. You know, with the shadows. It's not beaming, is it? It's kind of like refracting off the ground, which is what you want. More stuff over there to see, and then as we move across into complete, sort of towards the end of complete dusk and towards night, you can see that the tool is in full force. Look at that sun over there. Oh, that's so nice. I feel like we're in some sort of CGI scene in a movie. It's so good. Alright, and then we can move eventually all the way through to night, and then this is where the dynamic lighting kicks in, and you'll be able to see everything around there. Now if I apply this, because it's difficult to do dynamic lighting in time preview, although if you use X-Plane or something like that, you can cycle through the times of day without any real issue. But you can't actually do that with P3D. You can preview it, but then you always have to apply it, which kind of sucks. But this will load back in no time at all, and then I'll show you the dynamic lighting quickly. Okay, so it's loaded into the night now, and you can see like the lines on the ground and stuff aren't as kind of flamboyant. You can see all of the apron over there is nicely lit by the dynamic lighting. But the best way to show you the dynamic lighting and the way it's truly black at night. You can see that, apart from we're pretty much ambiently lit here by the apron lights and stuff like that. But if you were flying in the night in the sky high up, then you would notice that you can't even see your plane from the outside view. It's that dark. So let's bring GSX up, and we'll say, I don't know, request catering service. Doesn't really matter who does it. First thing you'll see, completely different from like FSX and stuff like that, is how the lights off the pallet trucks and stuff like that actually light up the objects around them. These are the things that you take for granted in like AAA games and stuff like that. But in Flight Sim, and more importantly in P3D, it was never a thing, and now it is. So if we follow anything really that drives up to the side of the aircraft and parks itself nearby, you will see that it dynamically lights it up. I'm just waiting for a truck to do that. Right now the only thing we've got is this dude here, but he doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. I'm hoping these pallet trucks will actually be able to light up something. If we go around this side, maybe we'll see them in action. Okay, you can see them. This one's coming across now. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. It's lighting up the underside of the wing, back of the engine, and then of course it will go and it will light up the underside of the plane like that. Look at that. It's so good. It's so good. And then you can see this one here is doing its thing. So that really isn't PTA, that's just P3D night lighting and the dynamic lighting. But I figured, with the actual preset working its wonders at night as well, you may appreciate that. So that's really it. That's really all I have to say about PTA. That's it in a nutshell. As I said, it's £15 to buy, $17.99, which is I've been told is a pretty reasonable price. You would be doing me an absolute massive favor if you could support this. I'm not begging for sales, but just know that I put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this, and also a lot of money too. It's a bit of a risk for me, and those of you that have followed me on this kind of little journey will understand exactly what I'm talking about. The funds from this are kind of going in about 4 different directions, but one of them is to Project Fly. Another thing is we're working on is something called SimStall, which is essentially like Steam for flight sims. So let's take, for example, this 747. This 747 is running right now as vanilla, but if I had this 747 in, let's say, 3 or 4 months time from now, I'm pretty sure something like FSFX packages would have an immersion pack out for the 747. Now if we had SimStall up and running and I purchased the 747 via SimStall, I would be able to install it into the simulator with just one click. It would download it and do everything by itself. And then once that's all installed and ready to go, you can also view user modifications and also developer modifications for the add-ons you've purchased. So for example, if FSFX packages did bring out the immersion pack for the 747, you could also buy that and then apply it straight to the aircraft within the program, and you would be pretty much good to go. There's an absolute ton of features coming into SimStall, but that is just a kind of too long, didn't read type introduction to it. I'll be talking a lot more about it over the coming sort of weeks and months, but that is something that money from PTA is going to as well. The third and final thing it's going to is I've started. I mean, there's been quite a bit of speculation about it for some time now, but myself and about 8 other people have all embarked on this very ambitious journey. I will say so myself, but we want to create an add-on for Flight Sim, an aircraft for Flight Sim, for X-Plane 11 and also for P3D version 4. So the only two real 64-bit contenders as far as flight sim platforms go. And we want to build ourselves an Airbus A380. So the funding of PTA will directly go to, or some of it anyway, will directly go to the production of that as well, because that is no easy feat, nor is it a cheap one, because there's a lot of stuff that needs investing in as well. So that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. I do apologize that, you know, you're not seeing regular videos, but just know that I am doing stuff other than videos, which I really hope will enhance your flight sim experience and really improve it for the better. And then, of course, this is a very small but significant start to that process. So that's really all I have to say. I look forward to seeing all of your screenshots and videos with it. And of course, if you want to spread the word, if you don't even use P3D, but you know someone that does, and you want to spread the word, then absolutely feel free to do so. I don't ask for much in life. I kind of just get by. But this is something that I really want to succeed, and I really hope you can see the potential in it. And we can kind of work together to make this thing, as a famous person once said, great again. So yeah, that's that. Thank you very much for listening to me. I will leave all the relevant links below the video, and until I get a chance to make another one, thank you all for the support, and I'll see you later. Bye bye for now.